Hi everybody, welcome. This is a video I'm recording to help you do better in the simulation, to help you get more points and understand business a little bit better and understand why the strategic decisions and financial decisions a company should make to help them maximize shareholders' wealth, which is what running a company is all about. Now, this is Y-4 round. You just completed Y-3, so let's review the results. If you go to the overview, you see, if you've been following my series of videos here, you see that I've been trying to increase points by increasing profits. So I was able to increase my sales. I got points for that. I improved my quick and debt ratios, I got points for that. And my profit margins went up about 7% for gross, 6% for operational, and 6% for net. And I'm always trying to get my gross profit margins up as much as I can, but my goal is at least 5 percentage points per round. Now, as before, my total asset turnover was lacking because I did increase my assets, which I anticipated, and I'm fine with losing some points in return on assets or total asset turnover because I realize I'm growing my assets much faster than my profits, but that's my plan because I'm going to make the best company I can and make it the most efficient company, and then the profits in the later rounds will roll in and I'll be able to actually increase sales faster than assets. Now, my book value increased. All my forecasts were good except for my luxury failed a little bit, so I lost 6 points there. And I made 100 points for operational and 100 points for deficit. So 450 points, which is great because if I make an average of 450 points a round, and there's 6 rounds or years, so that will bring me to 2,700 points. So right on track. So if you are averaging about 400 to 450 points a round, you're on track to get the full grade for the project. You want to be closer to the 450 points a round. Now this was, I consider what I did in Y3 a building round. So I think I'm going to get significantly more points in year 4 now that I built up my company. And remember, you can check out assessments to get a assessment of how you did in the simulation. So you're wondering how you personally performed, check out this assessment tab, and this will review your performance in all key areas. And then if you look at the charts for your industry, you could review your charts to see how you did in your charts. And you can also go to the industry tab to see how your top competitors performed and what their decisions were. The financials, of course, are backed up here fully, and you could review these financials. It's nice that they must have an accountant working at this simulation that goes and does all the accounting for you and creates the income statements. Very nice service here. And then finally to sales. So now I'm in my sales, and I see that the price I can sell the car went up a little bit as inflation allows prices of cars to go up. The customer expectations have gone up. My operational cost reductions have gone up. So now I'm going to forecast the round. Now, remember, before I start to forecast my sales and rebuild my cars, what do I do every round? I go down and I pop up the student manual and I check to see what the baseline is. And you never do, so for year 4, you never do exactly the baseline of, this is just a estimate based on, I guess, if every car company was exactly the same. So if I make my cars better than the industry, I should forecast higher. If I make my cars worse, I should forecast lower. So it's not the answer to what your forecast should be, but merely a guiding point so you don't wildly over or under forecasts. Okay, so I'm going to build my car. Of course, I'm going to try to make my car better than last round. And yes, I am getting I see here, I have greatly increased my gross profit percentage. So I'm going to try to shoot for making my car Okay. And remember, these importance factors are important as far as how the customer sees your vehicle and whether or not they want to buy your vehicle. So if something's not that important, I can actually go below customer expectations because customers are not going to be that disappointed. Now, I see here that this I didn't able to increase that much, so maybe. All right, I will just tweak this a little bit to see. Okay, so I was able to get it up about 5 percentage points, which is my goal. And some cars I could sometimes do better than that. Some cars I can't. So I try my best. And you get these warnings. There's some limits here, which makes sense. All right, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so like this one is a little tricky. All right, so the truck is really a difficult one for me here to get up to get my. I don't think I'm gonna make my full 5 percentage points here. So I just have to know that I'm gonna have to increase some of my investments in the truck area. And you can see as the customer expectations go up, it's going to cost more to make these vehicles. That's why it's important to keep investing in the company so you can afford these increases in customer expectations. Okay, so I see here that this is actually going down, so I'm going to have to try my best to get this up. To make some sort of profit this round, and it's okay. So I did get that a little bit higher. It's tricky because I want my car to sell, and I want it to be attractive, but I also want to make some sort of profit on the vehicle. All right, so this I did get up a little bit, so I'm going to submit my sales data. And I'm going to pause it during the marketing because it takes a real long time, but I'm going to follow this guideline here of what the range of expected sales, advertising spending is going to be when I build my car. It's important to note on the sales page that if your profit, there's a number of companies who are not doing as well, and I noticed that all their profit margins are low 40% or even below 40%. Now it's been 3 years or 3 rounds, and you started the simulation at 40% profit margin. So if you've made no progress in increasing your gross profit margins, that's why you're doing poorly, and that's why you're not going to do well in the simulation. So you have to get those profit margins up. So now here, luckily I don't have to build a new plant here, so that saves me some money this round. And I see somebody keeps going, one team would go in and say, oh, I need 4 more production plants. So if I only need to build 4,000 cars, why am I increasing my capacity to 8,000? So make sure you only buy what you need in the production plants. And once you buy it, it sticks. You have it. You don't have to repurchase it. Only have to purchase new plants if the simulation demands it. Okay, so I'm going to increase my operational investments to help maintain my profitability. So here now on the sedan class, I'm going to have to buy a couple production plants because sedan is really expanding quickly as far as the sales growth. Okay, here on truck, I don't have to buy a new production plant, so that's going to help keep my assets from ballooning too much, but I am going to make my operational investments. And here I will have to buy a new production plant. And I had some leftover inventory, which caused me to have less of a budget surplus than I expected. So if you ever expected a budget surplus and you wind up having a budget deficit, it's because you have unsold inventory that these cars were planned to be sold, forecasted to be sold. They weren't sold, so they never translated into sales or profits, and that's why you had that unfortunate deficit develop, because your forecast did not match what actually happened, and that's how those unexpected deficits occur. So let me save the production data, and let's see where I am on my finance page. So hopefully I have a surplus, and yes, I have a nice surplus. So I'm going to invest that surplus by retiring some debt, retiring some short-term and long-term debt, which lowers my interest rate, which will help my debt ratings. I'm also going to buy back some stock, and that will help my per share variables go up a little bit, and then I'm going to finish the round. Okay. So now year 4 has been submitted successfully, which I need to do that because it's due very soon. So make sure you don't skip around. We still have a couple of students missing their round, not filling anything out, forgetting completely about it, which I find surprising since I usually send out a reminder in the email in the beginning of the week, in the middle of the week. So I'm not going to be sending out any reminder emails anymore, because by this point you should get the flow of it. And I hope you found this video helpful as far as an idea or construct of how to fill out year 4. And for the students watching these videos, I think you're doing very well, but there's got to be a number of students who aren't watching the videos, who aren't doing taking any of the hints or advice I'm making, and continue to do poorly in the simulation, which is unfortunate. So my goal is to make sure everybody does well. I'm really rooting for you to do well in the simulations. That's why I'm making these videos, so you can get the experience and the joy of really competing, doing well, and having your company having a strong return. Okay, thanks for your time. I hope you found this helpful.